Sure. I'm not sure if it was a typical Game 3, but it was a good playoff game. It was a great team effort. I thought we responded very well from yesterday. We had solid goaltending, and we had a complete team effort because we had to kill a lot of penalties, and I was very pleased with the effort.
Questions for Zach Cameron, your center, Adam Chappie on your right.
Your shorthanded goals seem to make a big difference. Did you feel that way on the ice?
I think any goal makes a huge difference in a Game 3, but yeah, certainly a shorthanded goal can help your team get some momentum, so I'm sure the guys were thrilled.
Can you walk us through that goal?
I think one of their guys came in the zone and kind of just tossed it back and happened to be on my tape, so I just went down the ice and tried to make a move instead of shooting because I've been a little bad with a shot on breakaways, so I decided to go with the dig this time.
More questions for the players?
Zach, you had 2 goals today, and you obviously had a big defensive responsibility too. I guess in a game like this, how much are you thinking that you got to get up and get involved in the play?
For me, I just try and take the same mindset every game. I want to be as sound defensively and solid back there as I can. If the opportunity presents itself, then absolutely I'll try and chip in. So I think for me, I try and think defense first, but the opportunities were there a few times, so I was fortunate enough to help contribute.
Zach, just speaking as a captain, how do you think you comment on how your team responded today? Obviously, to another.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. We talked briefly after the game last night. We knew we had to put it behind us because we knew it was a quick turnaround. So I think for Game 3, both teams had the same thing at stake here. Backs are against the walls, do or die, to get on to the the semis at the Garden. So I think we responded pretty well, and we're obviously pleased with the outcome.
How does it obviously there's always a little tension in a Game 3, and you get the early goal from AJ, and then kind of what did Adam's goal kind of do just to the general flow of the game, the feel, and on the bench and so forth?
Yeah, I think you can't get too high or too low, especially in Game 3 situations. So I think while it's good, it gets the guys excited. You just can't get too high because then bad things can happen. But it definitely helps.
For either one of you, this is your 3rd trip to the Garden, and obviously you've won it the last 2 times. Is there any takeaways you can take from that for this year and use going into Friday night?
I think just it's a rink that we've played in before, so you can't get too starstruck or anything like that. Obviously, we can just try and pass our wisdom down on the younger guys. We played in big rinks this year already for big stakes, so I think just making sure we're calm, cool, and collected, and focus is going to be the biggest thing.
Anything else for the players, so we can let them get back? Thank you, guys. More questions for Coach?
Coach, did you feel that there was a particularly pivotal point in the first period where your team really kind of seized control?
Typically, you would, but not in this type of game. There was just too many momentum shifts. We talked about navigating those momentum shifts leading into the game. So we weren't getting too high or too low. The guys said it. We were trying to stay calm through everything, and there was a lot of unpredictable moments, and the guys stayed pretty strong throughout. Their resolve was outstanding today, and when you have to kill that many penalties, you have to be mentally tough, and I thought the guys showed that tonight.
Norman, you had to lead. Just kind of your impressions. You did have that parade to the penalty box where I forget what the score was. It was 6-1, 4-1, or whatever in the second period. Kind of what was your take on that sequence in the game?
Well, I didn't pay too much attention to it because I have to really watch the game again to find out what the calls were and exactly what we got for penalties. I have no idea. So I'd be lying if I told you that it was too much sick work or this or that. I thought the guys were competing extremely hard. I'm sure a couple of them were warranted. At the same time, we're the cleanest team in the league. So that's all I can tell you. Well, we worked through it.
You've a bunch of new faces on the team. They're going to the Garden. This is their first time going to the Garden. What do you instill in them to keep their composure together?
Well, at this point, guys, you know, you have to manage the bench, but the older guys have to really educate some of the younger generation to what they're going to face. And it's great that they're getting this experience, because just the fact that senior group has got 4 20-win seasons is spectacular. We have a chance at another trophy, and we want to seize the opportunity and go for it. You know, like 3 other teams are going to be there with us. So it's exciting. Our season, we live to play another day.
You know, on that, after last night's loss, you made a special point to say this is a different team. You mentioned the 14 new faces, and then you kind of said, asked how they would respond today. You kind of said, we'll see. You've seen what kind of, what did you like, what you saw today?
Well,
What had you seen early in the season? You made reference to the fact that, you had already seen them respond to situations this season that
Yeah.
gave you confidence.
No, it's an excellent question, because if you look back at the schedule, we've rebounded extremely well to losses. And at this time of the year, there's no chance of doing that anymore, from this point forward. So it's exciting for these guys to have these opportunities to find out a little bit about their group, because these are tough game threes. Every game 3, I think there's 3 out of 4, right? Went to game 3 in Hockey East. It just shows you the parity in the league. It's second to none. So tonight was, the resolve had to be there in a big, big way, because there's a lot of penalties throughout the game. Yeah, so from that standpoint, I thought a lot of things were positive, and I thought they kept each other accountable, but they also were very, very positive with each other. So that's a big, big deal. And I thought Zach Cameras was an absolute man out there. He was determined. And, Jake Suter and Terrence Wallen played well also, but I thought this was one of Zach's games. He took it over.
As they're pressing in the third period and they get those 2 goals, I guess what's the reaction on the bench, like strategically, to kind of like stem the flow there?
Well, that's a great question, because I had called my timeout earlier to give a long line change a break. You know what? You just stay calm and you see yourself through it. The guys, knew about these types of momentum shifts early on, before we even went out. And that's really what our discussion was before the game. And it certainly put us to the test. It kept you guys entertained, but it put us to the test.
Can you talk about the old age-old comment about goaltending and special teams determining? It seemed like you won both of those battles today. Can you just talk about that?
Oh, sure. In playoffs, it's more important than ever to have good special teams. And I thought this whole weekend our special teams were pretty good, and our goaltending was very good. And Kevin's coming into his own. I think he's playing better and better. So it's a good time of year to be doing that. And special teams is a good time of year to be cranking that up also.